and I'm here with Jess and Reach Out Talks, and it's so nice to chat to you, Jess. Thanks for having me. We're talking about music, we're talking about fitness, we're talking about dancing and life and working and all kinds of cool stuff.
Meine Welt, wie sie mir gefällt. Shopee Tivoli.
Sie ist DJ, Fitnesstrainerin, Ambassador, Model, Engländerin Beauty-Talent und wir fragen uns, gibt es eigentlich etwas, was Rebekah Abdeen nicht kann? Aber genau das finden wir heute raus und checken auch noch ab, welcher Song der Soundtrack vom 2022 wird. A fashion trend you don't understand at all.
Oh, I would say like all of this like high fashion, like Balenciaga, but like also just like a legging, like super boring and strange, but
like expensive.
But super expensive, and I don't get that. Okay. I get the whole Balenciaga dirty shoe, golden goose thing, but I don't get this like simple leggings.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite curse word? Today you can.
I can?
Yeah.
Oh, it's for sure. I mean, really, it comes up in so many different ways for me all the time, but my mum hates it, so I try not to use it.
A thing that makes you angry?
Really like rude people in like public spaces, like when you're on the tram or whatever and people don't smile or they push you out the way or...
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, like kind of rude people, yeah.
A useless talent of yours?
I can play the flute.
You can?
Yeah.
Show me.
Yeah, like this.
Yeah.
Since I was a little girl, and I think I'm not bad, but only I ever played were Christmas carols for my family, you know.
What are you most afraid of?
Ghosts. If I'm alone in the house...
And there are some noises.
And there's, I hate it. I always think I see things or things move, and I definitely get scared at night, especially if I can't watch horror movies. So all of that kind of supernatural stuff I don't like.
Okay. Your bio reads like a novel, from acting to DJing to fitness. Which passion did you discover first? Definitely
acting. I always wanted to be an actress since I was a little girl. And even though I was super sporty, and obviously sport was like a big part of my life when I was a kid, tennis and various different things, but that was the thing that I really wanted to pursue as a career.
Can you remember the first club track you heard or you played?
Well, I think there's like, from all different genres, there's definitely like standout tracks because I love so many different genres of dance music particularly. But I would say probably one of the first house tracks that really stuck out was Two People by Jean-Jacques Smoothie. And then something which is like a trance classic that I love is Cafe Del Mar Energy 52. But this is like really like 90s trance music from the UK. So, and yeah, I would say those two.
They're amazing. And what track guarantees a full dance floor?
Again, it's like difficult with the genres and the time of the day, but if it's going to be like a super happy, uplifting kind of mood, not too much in the after hours, I would say something like Strings of Life. It's like as soon as you hear the violins come in and everyone's like, and they kind of don't expect to hear that song. And it's just like so euphoric. There's such a big smile on people's faces, and yeah.
I think that's a super nice thing if you're playing a song and you see like the smiles going up with the crowd, and then
it's an awesome feeling.
You were born and raised in Newcastle. How did you get to Zurich?
It's quite a long story. I mean, yeah, I was born in Newcastle. I'm a proper Geordie girl. A lot of people are familiar with Geordie Shore. When I was about 19, my behaviour was probably quite similar to that of Geordie Shore. So my mum was very happy I moved away. I lived in the Middle East for a while. I lived in Dubai and was like living there. And then I moved back to England and I was living in kind of the US, West Mexico. Then I moved back to England. I was in London for most part of my adult life, actually, I would say by now. And then... I basically was approached to work on a project in Zurich in 2018. I'd never been here before. And because I moved around so much and lived in different places, I thought, well, why not? And it was a new challenge for me, really. So I've been here ever since. Pandemic kind of kept me here as well. And now it's been home since like 4 years. So
Wow. And
Yeah.
what do you love about Switzerland, and is there something that you maybe don't like so much?
I mean, the nature for sure I love, because in the winter I always go to the mountains. I love to ski and enjoy the social around the ski scene as well.
The upper ski.
Yeah, definitely my favourite part. I probably do about 2 hours of skiing in a day maximum. And then I would say in the summer, like obviously the lake culture, and I live quite close to the lake in Zurich, so that's like a major plus for me. I love to swim in the lake. And yeah, I don't know, there's quite a cool scene here. Everything's kind of small and close. You can go and have a really nice dinner, and then you can have a drink with a friend, then you can go and dance until whatever time in the morning. So it's a big advantage, I think, from London, where it is so big and a lot of your time is spent commuting on the tube or in taxis or whatever. And so the quality of life for sure has been really important for me over the last 4 years, definitely.
I understand. And is there something you maybe don't like so much here?
I mean, in one sense it's great that it's small, but then in another sense it kind of, for me, coming from London and still being so connected there, because London is kind of my home, even though I'm from Newcastle, there's like a lack of diversity sometimes. You know, you don't have that kind of feeling of moving from one part of the city to another and experiencing like a completely different energy with different types of people. And you have it in a small way, I guess, with Langstrasse and then the other side of the city, but it's just, yeah, I miss that kind of tapestry of urban life in London for sure. Okay. And also just being able to like chat with cabbies and say like, you know, tell your kind of life story to a cabbie for 20 minutes and, you know, meet really kind of like unique people that you're never going to see again. That's really special. I miss that. Yeah, I miss that.
Because here it's like more, if you talk to someone, it's like, why are you talking to me?
Yeah, and I think there's definitely, I mean, got some lovely friends who are from Switzerland, of course, and I think generally it's opening up more and more, and people are getting a little bit more relaxed maybe from how I felt it in 2018. But yeah, for sure, people are, especially if you start talking to someone, people look at you a bit like, why are you talking to me? What's wrong with you? Yeah.
Do you have some favorite spots in Zurich?
For sure, the lake. I know it's super cliche, but yeah. But I live like down on the Enge side of the lake. So say Bad Enge for me, especially in the morning and during the day for breakfast. And I'm a real sun worshipper. So I really enjoy just chilling there, even having meetings there sometimes. It feels super nice and relaxed just to meet somebody in your swimwear. And then I guess another place which was a kind of discovery of mine in 2020. I love to play tennis with my boyfriend. So in 2020, we spent a lot of time in that beautiful summer playing tennis and swimming. And we found this spot at Sonnenberg, this tennis club near the Dolder. And it's super special up there. Amazing summer evenings playing tennis. It was so hot, like 28, 29 degrees. I think I had my best tan in life ever that summer.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it's amazing. And yeah, and you've got the view of the lake from up there. It's really magical. So yeah, that's a nice little spot for sure.
So Dolder and the lake.
Yeah.
You were involved with the opening and creative direction of Open Ride in Zurich. How did it come to be, and how did you get started with indoor cycling?
So it's quite a long story over about 12 years now. I first started working in the fitness industry in 2009 actually, as a personal trainer. And then I went to work on cruise ships in Mexico, very random. And that was the first time I taught a spin class in 2010. It was a very different time then. You put a CD in and you had to wheel the bikes out and you were kind of on a cruise ship as well, which was super strange. But it was really magical and I had this instant connection with it. And I'd always, in a way, from being wanting to be an actress, had kind of developed into this fitness industry with the same passion and energy for performance. So the indoor cycling thing or the spinning thing kind of fused those two worlds together for me quite naturally. Mm-hmm. And then over the years, especially between, I would say 2013, 2014 to now, I just became kind of known for teaching these very experiential kind of indoor cycling classes that were more of a nightlife, music culture experience than, you know, just getting in and riding a bike, and I always loved to pay so much attention to the music. So yeah, and then I basically was approached to move to Zurich in 2018 to work on a spinning indoor cycling project. It wasn't open ride at the time, it was just you know, an idea about doing a new kind of indoor cycling studio in Zurich, and then I presented my vision and ideas about what I think we could do and where the industry needed to go, which I always felt that music culture wasn't prioritized enough in that space. So yeah, and then I kind of moved here and brought that energy from London. We put together a team of different people who created the brand alongside me as a creative director, and Open Ride was born. So it's been a really special journey to be able to share something that I was so passionate about with a new audience in a territory that I'd never been to before as well. And kind of, yeah, it was a risk, and it worked. So I'm super proud of that journey. And yeah, and life evolves and flows and changes. So I'm now moving into new things, and you know, it's been an interesting time for sure.
So there will be some new projects soon coming up.
Definitely. I mean, you know, I'm all about loving to play music so much, which in the last 4 years, because so much of my time and energy went into Open Ride and delivering that project, not just creatively and building up the business, but also as an instructor. And those classes do take a lot of your energy. I do miss it actually, because I haven't been teaching indoor cycling classes for a few months while I transition. So I will definitely get back on the bike for sure in the not too distant future. But it's been so nice to play more music again, which has been a lot of fun. And also working with Adidas, who are one of my sponsors, as a brand ambassador and a trainer. So I'm still teaching a lot of workouts with Adidas, which also include a huge music component as well. And yeah, there's a lot more to come with that. So
you are currently partnered with Adidas. What does that collaboration all included?
So I started working with them about 5 or 6 years ago actually in London, and was teaching some workouts for them there. And then when I relocated to Switzerland, I was contacted by them to work with them more in the Swiss market. And now I'm a brand ambassador, particularly for Adidas Stella McCartney.
That's insane.
Yeah, which is super cool, because it was always, Stella McCartney was, I was a big fan since I was a little girl. And that collab with Adidas is about 15 years old now. But I remember my mum took me to London, and it was like some of the first kind of like really cool activewear pieces that my mum kindly bought for me, and I still have them today. I must have been about 13, I guess, or 14 at the time. And so yeah, it was kind of like a really crazy thing to almost like come back to your childhood in a way, but in a completely different place.
From a client to ambassador.
Yeah, from a client to an ambassador. And I love it because, I mean, Adidas as a brand was always super authentic for me anyway. But even with Stella McCartney, you know, it was such a match since my youth. So I feel very honoured and privileged to be on that brand for sure.
You are also Yves Saint Laurent Beauty-Talent.
Yes.
How does this come?
So this was super random, but last year I was, you know, I've always been playing music here and there, even though I was teaching a lot of workouts and rides and everything along on the fitness side of things. And then Diana from Yves Saint Laurent Beauty reached out to me last summer and said, hey, we are starting a new project with music talent or female DJ talents and dancers in Switzerland, and we'd love to work with you. And I said, okay, that sounds awesome. Because, you know, I do love nightlife culture, and for me, Yves Saint Laurent Beauty has this kind of attitude and energy about it, and
that
like,
you fit so well. And you also did the Libre campaign with them.
Yeah, exactly.
My name's Rebekah Abdeen, and I'm a VJ. For me, playing music is something that
I do every day in my home, and it's something I want to share with other people. As a woman, you're stepping into a very male-dominated environment. It can be a little bit intimidating, to be honest, but as soon as you get in there and you set up and you start playing, and in that moment, it doesn't matter whether you're a man, you're a woman, you're non-binary, you're just in that space, in that time, having your best life, sharing it.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was super fun. And when Diana mentioned it at the end of last year, that listen, there's going to be this campaign around Lieb, which is the fragrance attached to Dua Lipa as well. And I love her energy. And of course, she's also she's based in London, coming from London as well. So yeah, it was a really nice timing for me to be involved in that project, especially now stepping into kind of new territory in my working flow. It was all about power and the female topic, which is always close to my heart, coming from a family of very strong women, a strong mum and a strong grandma as well.
Push the boundaries.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that was, I mean, the shooting day was just incredible. Yeah, I just loved every second of that, and it kind of brought out that whole acting piece again for me.
Yeah,
which
I saw it on the video. Really, like you have a strong attitude there, and I really liked that.
I missed that a lot. And actually, I saw my mum last week in Newcastle, and she said, "Oh, you've got to get back into acting. Now's the time. You could be the next Helen Mirren." And I thought, okay, Mum, I've got quite a lot of projects on at the minute, so I'm not sure I can manage that as well.
But well, go big or go home.
Yeah, exactly. That's my mum, right? She encouraged me to do all of those things. So.
What's your favorite YSL beauty product?
At the minute, it's got to be Lash Clash, I would say. I mean, mascara is so important for me in my beauty bag anyway, but it's so damn good. It's like the best mascara I've used, but I mean, all the products are amazing, but that's the one that's really important for me. So yeah, Lash Clash.
It's also one of my favorites because it makes like really this big volume.
Yeah,
I like
for
this
sure.
a lot.
Yeah, it's cool.
Which female creators or artists here in Switzerland are inspiring you?
I mean, there's quite a lot actually, but I'm very fortunate to have some really amazing girlfriends who are some of these creators, and Yael Anders is one for sure. I mean, we met in 2018 via Instagram. I saw her work completely randomly in Love Illustrations, and then approached her to work on the Open Ride project as a talent or graphic designer, as an artist. And we became super close friends since then, actually. We're kind of a bit like sisterly estranged, we're so similar in many ways. So I think her work's incredible, and it's so nice to see her now. When I met her, she was still at uni, and in the last 4 years, she's working on an increasing amount of incredible projects.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
You see her everywhere. Like big collaboration also.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I like her work.
Yeah, and actually we're very fortunate that very naturally we work now on more and more projects together, whether she's live painting and I'm DJing, or, there's so many opportunities there that we explore together, and it comes about so naturally. It's very, very cool. And yeah, I would also mention Sarah Quinn, because, she's done an incredible thing with VN Residency together with her partner 40, and I know she's got an amazing team there of also very creative women. It was really, for me, what I saw as the first real kind of co-working space in Zurich, which is also an event space, and they've got so many amazing collaborations happening down there all the time. And
yeah, you can do a lot of great events there.
It's
and it always looks different.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and I'm also very fortunate to have worked with her on some really cool projects, also with Adidas. So hopefully lots more with those girls to come. But there are many, many more also. There's lots
of great girls
really
together.
Girls. Yeah, it could go on and on. Yeah,
girl power here a lot. Your job demands a high level of energy, whether it's in DJing, fitness. How you charge your batteries?
I mean, for me, like, it's a classic, but travel for sure. If I'm in Zurich working for like too many weeks in a row, especially if I've been working on some of those weekends, I can feel that I'm kind of not very grounded. So definitely going to Newcastle, seeing my family, that makes a huge difference. It's so like simple up there. When you go up there, it's just like, right, back down to earth, sometimes with a bit of a bang. You're like, oh God. But the people are so nice in the north of England, and I miss that kind of spirit, so it is really cool. And my Geordie accent comes out really strong when I go up there and I speak to my parents, which my boyfriend always says, that's super weird, like your accent's so different when you get to with your family, but I love it, and they're so happy to hear me like speaking Geordie again. And yeah, I mean, I'm a sun worshipper, so always beaches or somewhere I can just lay back, read a book, spend some quality time with my boyfriend, because we both work a lot, so we often don't get those special moments where there's just nothing to do.
Like phone away and just recharge.
Exactly. Okay. It's so important, because I mean, the phone is such a big piece for me in my daily working life, so it's good to put it aside. Definitely makes a big difference.
And finally, can you play us the track that represents your soundtrack of your life?
Oh, there's so many. I mean, last night I was just making a new mix for a radio and was listening to all this crazy drum and bass and UK garage and was playing that. So for sure that gives me a lot of energy. But it depends, because I listen to so much like crazy music when I'm DJing and playing. Sometimes during my day it's nice to listen to something a bit more chill. One of my favourite artists that I pretty much listen to daily is Bonobo, Simon Green. So he's from Brighton. I've seen him perform 3 times in LA, London and Zurich a few weeks ago. And his music's just so incredible. It's like a collection of nature sounds with electronic sounds, and he's kind of created some kind of symphony of natural sounds with orchestra and electronica. It's just, yeah. So I would say it's really difficult to choose, but there's a track called Stay the Same, which has a vocal on it. Do you want me to play it?
Yeah, play it.
Okay. And it's just so beautiful, and it's like, this is one of my favourites for sure. It's like so special. It's got such a nice melody.
I love when they're like the classic.
Yeah, and also like the lyrics are like seasons change. I'm hoping I won't stay the same. Yeah. So it's like, yeah. So seasons change. I'm hoping I won't stay the same. And yeah, I guess through life, so much of my changes and my journeys were more interesting, or often took me into much greater directions when it was most challenging. You know, there's been times in my life, and quite recently I had one of those moments where it was like very difficult and I had to really take a step back in order to step forward. But fortunately I've had a few moments like that in my life, made some mistakes along the way, and that was always a great time to kind of, you know, recenter and say, okay, what does Rebekah want? What is your expectation for yourself? And songs like that have helped me a lot, actually. So I owe a lot to Simon Green for his amazing music.
Change.
Yeah, it's called Stay the Same. And yeah, seasons change. They definitely do. And I hope I don't stay the same.
What's the song of the soundtrack for the summer 2022?
For summer 2022, I mean, I feel like house music, like classic house music, is having like a renaissance. You know, like I mentioned earlier about Strings of Life, like when you drop that on a dance floor, it's like a classic tune. So I've been playing things like Free by Ultranate and stuff that really gets the people going from back in the 90s and early 2000s. So I would say for summer, this happy kind of UK house music is working really well. And people really appreciate that nostalgia as well after such a difficult few years. But in terms of music trend, I mean, I'm a bit biased because I love drum and bass and breakbeat, but I feel it like people are getting more on the whole vibe of breakbeat, drum and bass, garage. So I really hope to hear more of that sound in Zurich soon for sure, because I love to play it, and it's often difficult to play it here. But I sneak in a few tracks here and there and people love it. So we just need to, a few of us need to keep doing that a little bit more.
Someone needs to make a start, and then it will go on and on.
Exactly.
Okay.
So yeah, some bit more interesting UK sound would be nice, yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Rebekah, for being here. It was amazing to listen to your stories.
Meine Welt, wie sie mir gefällt. Shopee Tivoli.
It's a wrap.